welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber John, this is it Delver? Delver's back, officially back. The bans of Psychic Frog and Vexing Bauble unlocked two important angles of traditional Delver decks. Number one, Vexing Bauble, your free permission works, which is kind of what the deck is based on. And number two, as long as Psychic Frog was legal, it didn't make sense to pair any color except black with Daze, which meant that unless you wanted to be full Grixis, which turned out to be not very good, people did try it in the previous format, there was no reason to play Dragon's Rage Channel or Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat, Questing Druid, any of these other cards that are colors other than blue and black. But all that has changed, and the North Star of Legacy is hanging back in the sky. Delver is historically good versus combo decks because it applies pressure early and often, and then has a ton of interaction to actually keep them from winning while applying pressure. Delver is historically solid versus Ancient Tomb decks. Play draw matters a lot, but again, flying pressure and Wasteland and free permission versus a deck that has to hurt itself to tap mana in the form of Ancient Tomb, or if it chucks in a MDFC land, just getting those decks dead is frequently the best way to fight them rather than trying to control everything they're doing. And right now, the top of the metagame is nothing but combo decks and Ancient Tomb decks, except for this Delver deck, the lone holdout of fair Magic. It might be weird to treat Delver as the hero, but after the year we've had with Grief into Psychic Frog, Vexing Bauble right towards the very end, I for one welcome a return to dividing your opponent's life total by 3, and that's how many turns they have. I love that stuff. It's healthy Magic, even if it's annoying. It's a solid deck to have at the top of the metagame to base things around, and I'm excited to play it here today. This is trusty old it Delver with one Tropical Island for Questing Druid. I'm on the play in round 1 with a hand that might make a lot of people nervous, but I think is fine. I am going to keep this. A lot of folks, when they register Delver, they really want that Delver of Secrets or Dragon's Rage Channeler backed by Daze followed up with Wasteland open. And I want that too, but I'm not going to mulligan a functional 7-card hand without knowing the matchup in the blind, on the play, game 1. Like, maybe this is Oops All Spells and I'm going to get roasted because I don't have a force in my hand. Or maybe it's a mirror match where being up a card over a mulligan matters a lot. This deck plays 18 lands and 4 of them don't tap for colored mana. Like, what if I mulligan and then just don't see a land and now I'm on 5? There's so much that can go wrong. Okay, it looks like we're against Eldrazi. I'm going to set up a Seek the Beast. Drawing this Ponder turn 2 rather than sending it turn 1. Little disappointing, but it'll be okay. Flush Raker. This dies to Unholy Heat. Ooh. How many spells do I want them casting this turn? They can already Thought-Knot Seer. They can already Sowing Mycospawn. Yeah, I'm just gonna take my medicine here. If they play a second Lotus Petal and ramp up to 6, alright, fine. This much of it was avoidable, but we'll see what they're actually doing with all this. Like, all the things that I'm really super worried about. Oh, Chalice on 0. What the hell? They're just ramping now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could have already kicked Sowing Mycospawn. Okay, Chalice on 1, I am now actually worried about, and does change my plan. Seems silly now to take 4 from this thing, give them 3 mana, and then kill it, but also, like, information changed. That's Magic sometimes. Okay. Wasteland might be a little behind, but they could have Sowing Mycospawned Con Queso last turn and just didn't. I like that. And I do actually have most of the things in my deck that allow me to play through Chalice. Okay, they're making mana here, so this is probably going to be a Kozilek's command to draw some cards. They're making 3 spawns and looking at 3 cards. They bottomed all 3. Okay, so they're kind of on the ropes here. But they do get one more burst of activity. Something like a Sowing Mycospawn gets them right back in. But if I start questing, then I'm kind of doing it. Oh yeah, get me. Send a message. I respect that. I'm going to fetch Volcanic Island. The body on Questing Druid is kind of flavor text in these decks, and I don't really want to play without red mana. I hit Brazen Borrower. That one's actually solid. Yeah, I'll just cast both the spells. This rules. Okay, Brazen Borrower, bounce the Chalice on 1. This also gets the Delver Secrets in. The perfect Questing Druid. 2 mana, draw 2. The Platonic Ideal in Magic the Gathering. Ooh, now we're hard casting Once Upon a Time. Let's go. And that Chalice might actually hurt them pretty bad if they want to redeploy it. Like, if it costs 2 spawns and they have to play a land into this wasteland. Guy's Cradle's a hell of a rip, though. That's definitely a 1-of in the deck. Do they have the Myco spawn? As always, the card I'm most afraid of. Chalice on 1 is back. Okay. Not attacking this time. Delver looks at Lightning Bolt. I will flip, even though that's not particularly castable here. I am going to waste the Cradle. That's worth so much right now. I could Questing Druid now, try to hit a land drop, but I'd rather have a turn to do more with my lands. Thought-Knot Seer is disappointing. I will seek the Beast in response. Maybe I hit Force of Will. I hit 2 1-drops. All right, this is getting worse. Now I lose the Murktide, and the race becomes very difficult. I was counting on that. All right, we're back to attacking. Tight. Not missing any damage over there. Okay, I am going to cast the Ponder and Delver out of exile because it matters for Murktide Regent. And at this point, I wish I had fetched a Trop, but that's only because they didn't find a wasteland. If they had wasted me off red, that's pretty bad for me. Oh no, don't do more stuff. Okay, that's fine. I've already used my Brazen Borrower. We're just racing. Land is big. Sad. Okay. They're currently winning the race, but Brazen Borrower can change that if I can deploy it. Ancient Tomb. And they're tapping it. That's terrifying. Yeah, if they can devour my... Yeah, alright, it's over. Okay. Fetching the Trop would have been better there, but you play around a 4-drop that they can tutor, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Alright. Price of Progress, Abrade, Consigned to Memory. In Meltdown, I definitely got soloed by Chalice of the Void that game. Daze is an interesting one because there are boards where it's insane, and there's boards where it's a blank. And there's not much going on in between. Consigned to Memory is more reliable than Daze for sure. Price of Progress can cheese a game, but I do only play 1 basic myself, so if we end up in a race that I'm losing, the price might end up forcing a draw or just killing me. Not ideal. I think I will shave 1 bauble. What? This Meltdown is annoying so much. So I now have 9 answers to their 4 chalices in my deck. Do I need 10 at the cost of my own delirium and development? I'm going to say no. Maybe on the draw I'll change my mind. Okay, here we go. Keep this one. Leyline of the Void. Well, I'm not getting delirious. I can still make card selection decisions. Temple, Petal. Alright, I'm just zapping the Eldrazi Temple right now. Gotta deal damage somehow. Backup Temple. You hate to see it. The 3rd DRC, that's actually interesting. I think I'd rather Questing Druid this turn. And I will fetch the Trop this game. This Questing Druid gets huge under Leyline of the Void. Myco spawn, cool. They're going for Cavern for reliability instead of trying to screw me off lands. Probably correct. Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, I guess I'll just kill Thought-Knot Seer in response, and this is a sequence that I now regret not playing DRC. Alright, I'm going to dismember the Thought-Knot Seer in response to its trigger. I'll take Lightning Bolt. That kills Myco spawn, and it hurts my opponent. I draw the Lightning Bolt. I have to clear the Myco spawn or else I'm just not doing anything. Bauble, straight to the graveyard. Delver. Do I want this? That does fly. Okay. I'll keep Delver. I'm going to lose one of the Questing Druids here. Okay, that's gone. And now I could hold up Questing Druid, or I could play 2 threats. I could also Questing Druid now, just in case it hits Wasteland or a land that casts Delver, and maybe Double Spell. I don't think that's where I want to be. Also, that sequence last turn forced me into fetching red instead of green, like I was hoping for. All right, I'm going to dump out Dopes. This Leyline of the Void, if they win this game, it's going to be because of Leyline. A tough card to board in versus Delver because it's so bad if you draw it on turn 1 instead of it just being in your opening hand, and you don't really want to mulligan for it either, but you know, if it shows up and you get to keep 7 and have a plan after that, it looks really good. They exiled Delver and made some Dopes. Also, the difference this game between double Eldrazi Temple into Eye of Ugin versus any number of Ancient Tombs can't be overstated. They get to bounce that. Now they have the biggest creature in play. Ponder. All right. I'm going to Ponder first. Okay. Top. Wasteland is good. Murktide is bad. Okay. Top, top, top. Do not shuffle. I get to play Wasteland. I can mill both those Murktides when I seek the Beast. Blast Zone, holy smokes. That kills all my stuff. Okay, they're blasting my zone. I will respond with Seek the Beast while I can still surveil. Murktide Regent to the graveyard. Murktide Regent to the graveyard. Goodbye, 2 of the best cards in the matchup. Brazen Borrower, Delver with a hit. That's pretty decent. That can clear the Leyline and then play Delver. Okay. Petty Theft this Leyline of the Void. Play Delver. And we're back. I did not draw the land to Wasteland them here. Damage coming in. Chalice on 1. F my life. Unholy Heat. I would like to reveal that, even though I'm disappointed to see it. Now, wasting them versus deploying Brazen Borrower. I think I wanted to play Brazen Borrower and get this race under control. The creature's coming in. I am winning the race even without Brazen Borrower. Oh god, green in the pool. Come on, I hate this card so much. Okay, Sowing Mycospawn has been cast. We saw Gaia's Cradle, which means they do have a bit of a lands package. There's a Blast Zone as well. That means they might have a Maze of Ith that's sometimes in deck, sometimes not. Great. And I can waste it, but disappointing. Okay, cast Brazen Borrower. Get this race racing. They're dead in 2 hits. I'm also dead in 2 hits, but I get the first hit. Take out the Maze of Ith and just hope nothing happens here. Nothing at all. But this is the strength of Delver. Okay. They have Leyline of the Void and 2 unknown cards in their hand. Kozilek's Command beats me. The Devourer of Destiny, they can't quite cast that. All right, cool. Scrappy, ugly Delver game. On the draw, I think I want just a little more insulation versus Chalice of the Void. And I'm going to cut a Bauble. Really, the only point of Bauble is getting Delirium. And if they're boarding in Leylines, then I'm not going to have Delirium anyway. Okay, a hand strongly reliant on Delirium. I think I am going to keep this, though, because even if they do have Leyline, which it appears they don't, we dodged that. Even if they do have Leyline, Bauble, Surveil, Fetchland is a lot of card selection. They exiled all 4 cards. None of that's what they were looking for. Which checks out. None of those cards are very good. Except maybe the Wasteland. Chalice is very good, as we've known. I did bring in the Meltdown for this possibility. Blooded Strand, Bauble. I think I want to Bauble myself, and I want to do it after their turn. Like, I don't want to fetch into Wasteland if I don't like the card. Petal, Cavern, Thought Not Seer. This is going to take one of the Murktides. This is why I didn't Bauble on my turn. So I didn't draw the Bauble card. Okay, one of the Murktides is gone. And end step Bauble myself. Dismember. I do like that card. I'll take it. Draw. I'm just going to cook this thing now. And draw another 1-drop. I could be dumping 1-drops to fuel Murktide. Alright, I'm going to fetch Volcanic Island in the end step. I have enough lands, I just don't want to see more of that. Except that land, I'll take that one all day. Alright, I don't like wasting Ancient Tomb, because that one hurts them. But it is the most mana that they're representing right now. Command, make a dope draw card, okay. I need them not to have 7 mana on the turn where I deploy Murktide Regent, basically. And I can play Murktide next turn without discarding a card. I just fetch and I'm there. So I'm not going to burn off any of these 1-drops into the Chalice. They're representing 5 mana right now. Getting their beats in. Storm. That one actually does make Murktide bigger. Murktide's currently 4. If I make it 5, that does take a turn off the clock. If they immediately have a soul land and exile Murktide, the game ends on the spot. Okay, I guess I take my risks here. Okay, 5/5's in play. Just gotta hope they miss land drops. A no land drop, no attack. Consign to memory, wasteland, now good draws. Or I could keep flooding out. That's cool too. Thanks, deck. Okay. I drew the Ancient Tomb. And obviously the Chalice of the Void's doing a lot here, but I've also drawn an outrageous number of lands since this game started. Okay. I am literally fetching to thin at this point, which is not something I generally recommend as a good Magic strategy. But when you are under the gun like this, and you've just drawn, I've seen 10 of the 18 lands I play. If I can clear this Chalice, though, we can still flip it. It's not too late. Might go spawn. Well, Wasteland doesn't matter here. They're at 5. I'm dead on board. What do I have to draw here? I have to draw, basically, a Braid, Meltdown. One of my outs to Chalice. Come on. All right, well, it has to be Meltdown now. I will fetch because I'm literally drawing to a 1-outer. It's not that one. All right. Dead to Chalice of the Void. Legacy is healing. I still hate Eldrazi and selling Myco Spawn particularly, but yeah, getting soloed by Chalice in the 2 games that I lost, this feels like the Legacy I remember. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I will keep my hand. It needs lands and a threat, but has a lot of ways to look at it. If you're afraid of hands like this, Delver's not for you. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Ooh, I mean, there's the threat, but it's a lot of them in a row. I'm going to shuffle this. I don't want to lose immediately to Wasteland. Okay, cool. At least mitigated that outcome. Bauble. 2 baubles. So it's a mirror match or some artifact deck. All right, looks like some artifact deck is the answer. I can Lightning Bolt Nemri here. I have to force a Chalice. I can Lightning Bolt Tamiyo. If they play Thoughtcast here. Ooh, okay, so now they got 2 of these jerks. I think I actually do want to force this Emery. I'm going to exile Brazen Borrower to do it. Looks like they're thinking about it here. If they force back, we're both going to be hellbent, because I will Force of Negation of Force of Will. Then I'll Lightning Bolt Tamiyo, and they get their Bauble redraws from 0, and I get my draw step in this land. It's going to be ugly. But ugly is what Delver's for. They are deep in the tank about this. When they use their baubles is going to be interesting, because if they do wait till my turn and just pop both baubles... Oh, sick. The Pheto Alchemist. What are we doing? Oh, no. I played against this card recently in Vintage, too. Though, if they pop their baubles now, then they refill their hand faster and might be able to interact on my turn. If they pop the baubles on my turn, that's just 3 draws for Tamiyo, right in the bank. Okay, they waited, which means I don't have to bolt in my upkeep. I like a Daze. And I'm just going to pass into either their upkeep or wait for them to use their baubles. There's one bauble. There's the other. Okay. Kill Tamiyo. They get to Ancestral Recall here into my Daze, and then we're both playing Garbage Magic for a while. Urza's Saga. That's a good way to break open Garbage Magic. Wasteland off the top. Lightning Bolt. Not quite. Ugh. It never ends. Another Lightning Bolt. Okay, I can keep the first couple of constructs chill, I guess. Kinda. These are lands that die, though. Like, if I can wade through the constructs and draw something maybe like Murktide Regent and just flip the script. Okay, bolt this construct before it gets any bigger. I'll be able to bolt this one, and they'll need another land to keep the Saga train rolling. Emery. Daze that shit, for sure. And they don't appear to have a land. Okay. Let's go, Delver Gaming. I actually don't even need to bolt this construct. I can hold that for a moment. God, remember Lightning Bolt? Just banned for a year, and now it's back. Okay, Nadu, this makes sense. That explains the Epheto Alchemist. I don't have any plan for this, except, I don't know, beat it in combat. Draw Murktide Regent right now. Delver reveals Wasteland. I mean, I'll take it. Okay, waste that. And now, see if my life total holds against this 4 damage. At 17, I got a little time to figure this out. Come on, Murktide Regent. I need you now, big guy. Ponder, okay. Now it's 3 damage. Ponder. 3 lands. I do not want lands here. I want Murktide Regents. Okay, second Delver. Can I win this race? That's an interesting question. Oh wow, Force of Will pitching back up Nadu. All right, well, now I'm just going to park and invalidate this construct as much as I can. An artifact land would be pretty devastating. Just an uninteractable object for free that makes their thing bigger. Okay, I think I have to trade with Nadu this turn. I don't like giving them cards, but I am losing to this. And I'd rather play against a 1/1 construct than a 3/4 Nadu. Oh, I should have bolted first to make sure it resolves. Loosey-goosey. Alright, if I get blown out by a force here, they flip to Mox Opal, which makes their construct bigger. Almost taps for mana, too. Alright, deck. Some creature, some removal spell, something to do. Not a damn land. Losing my mind. But we're tight. We're tight. This is Delver Gaming. It's stressful. Come on. Come on. I am going to play out one of these 2 lands. I'll hold one back for a Brainstorm. The other one I'll dump out so I can main phase Seek the Beast if I draw it. Oh. Well, I can go to 2 here. And that means I can only crack one of these fetch lands forever. There's no black source in the deck. But if I don't do this now, it's not going to work. Okay. I'm going to go to their upkeep and dismember their creature. This plays around Force of Negation. If they have Force of Will, I simply lose. This is a flex slot in the deck. I've seen Unholy Heat played in this. That card would certainly be better for me here. Okay. We're clear. 2 life to work with. Oh no. Well, that card's really good. That turns on Mox Opal. Now what I gotta do is just rip Murktide Regent. Okay. Nope, they're not even letting me have that out. That is the correct play, by the way. Daze. Alright. Against an opponent with 1 mana, Daze is pretty good. And I've achieved something resembling stability. It's time for the doctor to operate. Let's go. Tamiyo, I will daze that by returning a land to my hand. Mishra's Bauble, I actually like that just fine. It's good for Delirium. It's good for selection. All things that matter to me right now in this moment. Bauble, trigger. Dump the backup Bauble. We don't need 2 of those. Bauble myself. Flooded Strand, I don't want that. I'm going to fetch the Trop. Play the Valk. And I'll attack for 1. I get a redraw here. We're starting to turn it around. If it happens, this is how it happens. Another Bauble. Cavern of Souls, yikes. Yeah, 1, even something like a Epheto Alchemist, just for the beats. Just Cavern on Wizard. Cavern on Scarecrow. Are you also a Painter deck? Oh, we're doing it all. Alright, I'm a fan. The chosen color is green. And this Mox Opal is on. Draw for turn. I'm going to move to combat and then play Bauble second main. In case I get Delirium, I actually need the blocker right now. Okay, Bauble. Oh my god, I need that, but I also need Delirium to survive the turn. Oh, that hurts. I could also chump, leave Murktide on top, chump with DRC, play a 4/4 Murktide next turn, just hope that they never do anything. I'm going to bin this. It's a little risky. The drawing Seed of the Synod. I'm not going to play out these lands, they don't do anything. Alright, come on deck, Lightning Bolt. Questing Druid, we'll take it. But I'm stuck on colors that don't actually cast my spells. Yeah, somehow between the basic and just how things rolled out here, just landed in a spot where I only have 1 red mana. Okay. They're playing a second painter that can't be countered. All right, well, then I won't try. They now have 3 lethal attackers. End step, seek that beast. Wasteland. That is mana, but it's not mana in a way that is helpful or useful to me. All right. Bin the Wasteland. There's a volcanic island. I do like that, but I need another spell to play the game. That's a heckin' spell. All right. Questing Druid. All right, I'll start there. That does have to happen. Brainstorm. This has to find a removal spell. Or it needs to find 2 removal spells because I am delirious. All right. It's not going to find 2 removal spells. All right. We're just going to die to combat. All right. GG. That was a sick game. Considering how far I was behind for that entire game, just it even being close at the end was pretty exciting. Okay. We're against some sort of blue Tamiyo painter deck with Nadu. Meltdown, Abrade, Pyroblast, all pretty clear. I think that's what I want to be doing. Force Negations mid. Daze. I had a couple good dazes that game, but now my deck's better at interacting with what they're doing. And Mox Opal Ancient Tomb decks trying to daze them in general can be a mistake. Consigned to Memory has text for sure in the matchup. Counters Painter Servant, can get triggers off the Urza Saga. I don't think that's how I want to do this though. Okay, I'm ready to battle. And that was such a great game because this Flex Slot Dismember main deck card, if that was just Unholy Heat or Chain Lightning, I have 4 more life to work with that game. I'm not dead to that attack with the 3 1-power creatures, and then I have a Questing Druid, 2 Brainstorms. That's a 4/4. The DRC's bearing down. Like, just Dismember being Dismember instead of Unholy Heat may have cost me that game, which is really exciting in terms of just deck building nitty gritty. I will keep this hand. It applies pressure quickly. I don't know if my opponent's Tamiyo strategy can be a Chalice of the Void deck or where they would fit all those cards. I'm going to use the Bobble trick. I'm going to bobble them in their upkeep, and then that gives me... Or no, I have to bobble myself. Never mind. I have to bobble myself, and that gives me 2 looks to flip Delver. Because you can stack your Delver and draw triggers wherever you want as the people who controls them both. Otawara, pass. End step, bobble me. My top card is not a spell, which means that I stack the Delver under the bobble, so I get the draw, clear that, and then we see a Mishra's Bobble. All right, that's another no. Okay, now I can Ponder, try to hit the red source, or just DRC, go for Velocity. I like a Velocity play here. Bobble, in the extra Bobble, attack for 1, and I'm going to try to do that trick again. Cavern of Souls, all right. Oh no, my dazes that are in my sideboard. They have an uncounterable Emery Wizard that milled a Grindstone and then 4 things that don't matter. End step, bobble me. Tropical Island on top. I am happy to see that land. Draw the Trop, then look for Delver. Flooded Strand. I'm less happy to see that land. It's getting worse, everybody. It's getting worse every minute. Okay, I'm going to play Tropical Island. I'm going to Lightning Bolt Emery. Unholy Heat. I'm going to keep that on top because it is both a good card in the matchup and it flips Delver. This Ponder will give me Delirium. Delver, Unholy Heat, Brainstorm. Delver on the bottom. Brainstorm. I'll just pocket the Unholy Heat right now. I don't want my opponent to know that I have Unholy Heat. That's why, like, revealing a Brainstorm is whatever. Revealing an Unholy Heat is actually something they can play around, especially knowing that they have Soulguide Lantern in their deck. It could sequence like Graveyard Hate into Nadu, and then my Unholy Heat doesn't work. Saga. Nadu is a wizard. Blasted. Feto Alchemist, here we go. You're in here. Delver finally flips, after years of being a puppet, is now a real boy. I could just heat this Alchemist and play Murktide Regent. I could just play Murktide Regent. I could Brainstorm, see if I find Wasteland, and hold my horses on Murktide Regent. I think I want to give myself a chance to answer this Saga. All right, that didn't work. That's okay. Put back land number 4. There's no reason to ever need that. And I think I'm going to put back this Ponder as well. And I don't actually have to cast Bolt yet. Untap target artifact or creature. They don't have any artifact land, so this isn't a mana dork yet. They don't have Nadu. I could Bolt the Alchemist in response, but right now leaving Ponder on top flips my Delver. Shuko. Okay. Ancient Tomb. All right, well, they're going to have an uncounterable Nadu here and get several triggers out of it. I think 3 is the number that I can't stop. Okay, so they're equipping the Shuko. I'll respond to this with the Unholy Heat. I guess they're going to get all 4. Well, in that case, go ahead. They flipped Lotus Petal. Okay, equipping Nadu again. I have to figure out when the best sequence for this is. They end up seeing the same number of cards if I act now or later, because a Feto Alchemist can untap itself twice in response. Okay. So here come the flips. Back up Nadu. That's a next turn problem. And Lotus Petal. All right, Nadu might be a this turn problem. And there's another flip coming. Cavern of Souls, Jesus. All right, so this is just Nadu doing Nadu stuff. Now I can F6 and die. And I'm not quite dead. I have 2 attackers and a lightning bolt. I'm drawing wild. But they are about to flip 2 more cards off Nadu, and then on my turn they can draw 3 more. Feto Alchemist untaps itself twice, then untaps Nadu once. Emery, Opal, Saga jumps into play. The Emery is now 2 more triggers. Flip to Tamio, that's 2 more triggers. Okay. It is, it's over, team. Oh, if I had bolted a Feto Alchemist instead of trying to fight the Nadu, they would have gotten 2 triggers, then have to stop instead of 4 triggers. But Nadu is the thing causing the problem, not a Feto Alchemist. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Like, I'm more likely to untap and see another turn if I bolt a Feto Alchemist, but I'm more likely to win the game if I Unholy Heat Nadu. And even though it didn't work out this time, I still think that is the correct play. All right, I've seen enough. I don't have my price of progress is in. GG. That was a sweet deck. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the play in round 3, at least I'm doing well with die rolls, even if I'm not winning any matches. Got the classic Delver Forest Wasteland open. I am playing monocolor, but I am also immune to Wasteland. Delver of Secrets on the stack. Baubles in. I'm going to do the bauble trick again. I don't really like brainstorming to flip my Delver aggressively, unless I have a reason to believe that's important in the matchup. Okay, Lightning Bolt. I will now bauble myself. I'm drawing a land. That's fine. Okay. Basically what I was deciding there is based on my top card, do I have a plan to keep playing the game or should I protect this Delver? And seeing the fetch land means that Brainstorm's on and we're gaming. Good chance this is a mirror match. Oh yeah. You bolt my Delver, you don't play Magic. Those are the rules. Don't have to think about days because I don't have any lands. Put back Trop and Force of Negation. I don't like Force of Will and Delver Mirrors, but I do like it when I'm about to resolve a Murktide Regent that they can't do a fucking thing about. All information comes from context. Okay, so next turn I can go Delver plus Murktide and have Force backup. It's going to be hard to come back from. All right, please don't show me a land here. Boo, boo. All right, I guess they are going to play the game or whatever. Basic Island. Now they're running scared. Ponder. Resolves. Did not shuffle their Ponder. That means they found more lands. Here's that Scalding Tarn we knew about. Here's this Murktide Regent. I'm going to play around Days with this one. I will, of course, commit a Force of Will to this fight, if this is the fight they want to have. And they even pitch Days to do it. Let's go. Now do I want to pile on the beats with a Delver of Secrets, or do I want to have Brainstorm to dig in case this Murktide doesn't work? I think I'd rather keep my Brainstorm. It is also important to remember that opponents who are missing land drops, that means their hand is all spells. Okay, so we just got a 3 for 4. Pitching Brazen Borrower is fascinating because that's actually an answer to Murktide. Does that mean that they did not come up with a land on that Ponder? Huh. Or they're so scared of Daze, but that they could force the Daze? Them shoving their own Murktide here is how they flip the game on me. Alright, so that is the plan that they were coming up with. I'm going to Brainstorm here and hope their last card in hand isn't Daze, and hope that I do find a Daze. Oh no. Well, bad news, everyone. We might lose this game. Because this is now a blank draw. And I have to play the fetch to clear my bad ones. And I'll pass. Yeah, if this first came with a blue card, I'd feel okay. If there was a Daze anywhere, I'd feel okay. Now I have, like, 2 draw steps to find Brazen Borrower. Opponent's got a Brainstorm left over. Yeah, this mirror is so about Murktide Regent, especially game 1. Game 2, you have Pyroblast and stuff, and cards are a little more variable, but it's Murktide Regent. Okay, I mean, this can block. I'm going to play my Wasteland. I'm going to save it for a red source. Like, if they fetch to shuffle their Brainstorm right now, I could take them off red, and then Lightning Bolt's not a thing I have to think about, which is a very important thing to think about because it takes a whole turn off my clock. I'm just desperately treading water here. They are fetching in the end step. I'm going to Wasteland immediately. If they have the Bolt, if they have the Seek the Beast, they just had the Bolt. Okay, well, at least I didn't just die, because that is how they win. If they draw Murktide right now, I lose. Wasteland can take me off green, which is flavor text. All right, we need Brazen Borrower. Dead. Okay, so them drawing that land the turn they did mattered. Missing on the blue card mattered. Everything matters. And we were both willing to go down cards to protect a Murktide Regent line, which is super tight. I like Ghost Vacuum. I like Counterbalance. Pyroblast, obviously. A Braid kills everything that isn't Murktide Regent. That's a maybe. I don't like Force of Will very much. Force Negation is definitely a blank. Bobble's important. I guess I don't need a Braid when I have all the extra lightnings in the deck. The Chain and Unholy Heat. Yeah, I think 0 is a fair number of Force of Will to play. You basically just don't want to spend 2 cards on 1 card, ever, in this mirror match. Unless it's Murktide Regent in game 1. Hydroblast is useful. Do I want any part of that? Because the cards I need to Hydroblast are Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, and Dragon's Rage Channeler. I can kill Dragon's Rage Channelers with my creatures or my Lightning Bolts. I could set up a fight over my Murktide with a Hydroblast, I guess. I'd be looking at probably shaving a Bauble if I was going to do that. All right, I'll bring 1 in. The second one is there for, like, Red Prison. Okay, I'll keep. Ponder found Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast. And this will keep me alive for a long time. I'll hold on to it. Also a Ponder. Not going to daze that. This also means I get to play my fetch land next turn and don't have to immediately answer a creature and don't have to shuffle away my 3rd land. Pyroblast, Ponder, Delver, Lightning Bolt. Okay, I'll take this Delver, and I could deploy it, or I could draw my 3rd land. I'm going to draw my 3rd land. Though, how worried about that am I? I don't think I am. I'm going to play Delver. I'm going to try to get on this board and make them start coming to me. Wasteland's good here. I do have Brainstorm to keep looking. Not a Wasteland. We dodged. And you have to play, like, the first 3 or 4 things are going to die, which is why Murktide Regent is so important. You're trying to play this deck, especially this mirror match, like the first creature is going to deal 20 is just a mistake. That might have been true in 2010. That's not how Legacy works anymore. Removal's too good. All right, Brainstorm, don't betray me. Okay, not a complete betrayal. Not really what I wanted either. I'm going to put back, I think, Lightning Bolt, Ponder in that order. I'll play the Delver. This guarantees Ponder if they Wasteland me. I can at least do that. And it puts Lightning Bolt under Questing Druid. That's a card I can use proactively. Dragon's Rage Channeler's in. Chain Lightning my Delver, okay. Okay, that's 2 things dead. Again, not worried yet. Okay. I'm gonna ponder first. I don't need these. I am looking for lands at this point. Got one. And the Lightning Bolt, this Dragon's Rage Channeler. We're both kind of in the range where a turn would have to be pretty crazy for days to matter. It's because we've both been careful about it. Wasteland from the opponent. I am actually going to Brainstorm here, because if they fight over Brainstorm, I can daze and counter the Wasteland. Alright. None of that happened. That's fine. Dragon's Rage Channeler versus Questing Druid. I think I'm going to tuck Questing Druid back a little bit and rock with the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Wow, okay. Putting Murktide Regent into daze is a decision that one can make. They probably have their own daze. Okay, Force of Will, that's even better. All right. I think they just blinked. Like, going back and forth on, we were just jockeying resources and being careful, and then the opponent just blinked into this thing. It's going to cost them a bunch of cards. I didn't have a land drop to make anyway. All right, cool. Now we are untapping with Questing Druid. If I send that, I'm sending it into daze. So I'm going to play my DRC and do that instead. I'm not going to blink now. I just got a good exchange. I'm not going to send it back their way. But if they had dazed, they would have dazed my daze instead of forced it. So, okay. I got a little too excited about playing around daze when I didn't have to there. But now I'm going to do it anyway. With 5 mana, this is hardcast Force of Will territory. A card that I don't have in my deck, but they clearly still do. Alright, that resolved immediately. Ugh, I can't do what I want to do here, which is bolt them in the end step, and then play my Questing Druid. If I want both of these cards, I could just bolt them in the end step. That gives up on casting Questing Druid this turn with Pyroblast backup, though. Alright, yeah, I'll just go to my turn. Another Druid. Tropical Island, Questing Druid, Creature Mode, safe from Force of Will, and I'll just bolt their dome while I have this available. That means there's only 1 Pyroblast left in my deck, though. Okay. That was a 2-for-1. I am worried about top deck Murktide. That's going to be the issue for the rest of the game. But they only have 3 spells in their graveyard, so I'm not worried about top deck Murktide yet. Unholy Heat does cover that. Alright, I'll play out land drops and go for a big Questing Druid. I could do it in their upkeep, so I will. This plays around them drawing Force of Will. DRC land, so that's going to be a full 3-for-1. Delta, Druid, Channeler, Trigger Druid. Just sequencing for damage here. Both of these creatures are fine. If they have like 1 Lightning Bolt in their hand, they can pick whichever one they want to kill either way. Might as well get the +1 counter. And my hand is already good, so I'm not going to brainstorm. Like, what am I putting back? All of these cards I'm happy with. And if they do try to bolt Questing Druid now, I can save it. Okay. Smartly went after the creature they know they can kill. That's 3 bolts out of their deck now, with me still at 18. Hey! There's that boy. I'm going to lead on Murktide. This triggers the Druid. If they do have a Pyroblast or Force of Will in hand, this gives me both Brainstorms to interact in response. If they bolt my Druid in response, I can Brainstorm twice and save it. There's the Pyroblast. Where's that 1 Hydroblast I boarded in? It's none of those cards. Okay, I don't want Dismember or Unholy Heat at this point. I'm putting back both of my removal spells. That's fine. Fetch. That's the last fetchable land in the deck. Brainstorm again. Druid's out of bolt range now. Okay. I like my situation here. I'm going to put back Brazen Borrower and Ponder. They can have my Murktide Regent. I'll play Delver pre-combat, just making a 6/6. Unholy Heat still clears this, except they don't have Delirium. I did just turn on a Daze on turn 11, but if that's what they have, we're winning this game. Okay, I have them dead on board, and I can answer Murktide Regent. Okay, another Red Blast. They are still dead on board. Ponder plus DRC triggers the Druid twice. Spell. This sequencing cost me a Surveil, but I do know that I am interested in drawing Brazen Borrower, so I don't feel too bad about it. Okay, Lethal Druid. They just said in chat they should have bolted the druid. Their gut told them to. It wouldn't have worked, depending on when they have done it. Yeah, depending on when they had that bolt, because I did have the 2/2 druid with 2 instants in hand. I was sequencing intentionally around that for basically the whole time. Do I want this other Hydroblast in, is the question. Do I want to turn Dismember into a Braid? Do I want to take 4 to kill a creature? No, I don't. Okay. That mana is not worth 4 life in this mirror match. And I'm on the draw now. Daze is still good, but I think Hydroblast is probably better now. There's so many 1-drops in this deck. Just scrolling to the bottom. Scrolling all the way to China. Shout out to my Chinese audience if I have one. I like this hand. Ghost Vacuum. One of those annoying things that if they just have like Delver questing Druid, it's bad. But if they're trying to have a Delirium Murktide strat, it's really good. Island Brainstorm. Wow, turn 1 Brainstorm. That makes me think they don't have another land. I don't know if I can articulate that as well as I'd like to, but that just smells like somebody who kept a bad hand or a risky hand. I'm going to keep Lightning Bolt on top and bobble them. Murktide Regent in their hand, good to know. Ghost Vacuum, work on sucking that up. Look at this. They're passing without a land drop. That turn 1 Brainstorm just, it's nervous. It's a nervous play. It looks like someone who's just like, I need this to resolve so bad that I can't even think about waiting on my Brainstorm. It can't get dazed. It can't get Pyroblasted. Brazen Borrower. I'm going to keep that on top. That's an answer to the Murktide Regent that I see in case they fight over this Ghost Vacuum. I'm going to suck up this Brainstorm immediately. And I know there's a Brazen Borrower on top, so the Surveil's not going to happen. I like every one of these cards, except the Volcanic Island, which I don't have to like because I will shuffle it away. Okay, I like my early position. I like how I'm set up versus the cards that I know about. I like that they are missing a land drop and Brainstorm locked. Okay, there's another Brainstorm. More patient on that one. They had access to that last turn and didn't send it. This will see all new cards. This is a much cleaner Brainstorm than the first one. Okay, Volcanic Island. I have 2 Wastelands. I could try to keep them underground for a while. Yeah, just 1-for-1 removal in this position is whatever. Wasteland for sure. And I'm going to exile their Sorcery. Sorcery is the rarest card type in the deck. My top card's Volcanic Island. I think I'm just going to play Flooded Strand and pass. Just play Control Delver here. I'll draw the Volcanic Island, then I'll cast Brainstorm. Delver's fine. Got that under control. Draw the Volk. Brainstorm now. 3 Wastelands actually sounds awesome here, but I do need to put some number of cards back. Exile the Delver now. And I'll just fetch a Volk now. I don't think they're going to have Stifle or anything of the sort, but let's just make sure it doesn't happen. Okay, now they're missing land drops. I'm drawing wildly drawing lands, the usual. Exile Brainstorm from the bin. In Screwbeat's Flood, they do have 8 cards in their hand. If they start casting spells, it could go sideways. Price of Progress is pretty one-sided if they boarded that in. I don't think they did. They shouldn't. Not even every list has it, but it would certainly be a card. They dumped the Murktide. I found a threat. Good job, me. Exile Murktide, keep the unique card types to a minimum. Sandbag this land. Ooh, a Trop. That's, for the most part, just a basic island. I'm just going to take it right now before we get to my turn or anything happens with that. Top card is Daze. I will reveal that, and I actually am going to keep it. It's turn 7, but they've had 1 land in play the whole game. I'll exile that Trop, make sure they never have green mana this game. And I am going to play Polluted Delta out at this point. Deploying the Brazen Borrower around Daze is something that I can consider. Okay, land number 2 has arrived, and it is the correct color. Delver's gone. Do I trust Brazen Borrower to win the game? No, I do not. Lightning Bolt. Exile your Lightning Bolt. Now, for 6 mana, I can get a 1/1 Murktide and a 1/1 Delver. Wasteland of your own. I doubt that's going to be used. Though we are approaching the same land count at this point. I'm going to Abrade this thing. Abrade doesn't go face. It doesn't kill anything bigger than this. I don't really expect any artifacts, even though I am currently going to town with a Ghost Vacuum. I'm not going to play this trop into their wasteland. Having access to a druid at some point, the body, could be really important here. Yeah, keeping that daze when they were stuck on one land and then immediately having 2 more lands. This daze looks pretty bad now. I could have shuffled it away with Scalding Tarn. Okay, more lightning bolts. Ponder, that can resolve. And I can kill or counter their next 4, maybe 4.5 things, even if I'm not really doing anything here. And they've now caught up on resources. If they crack this fetch land, I'll exile Ponder in response, because that is Murktide mana, even though they know I have daze. Maybe I want them to play Murktide. Why would that be true? That would cost me a card in a situation where I could just not spend a card instead. Yeah, exile the Ponder. But I'm looking for a threat. I'm looking for a brainstorm. There we go. I've waited my entire life for this moment. I'll pass the turn and make my move on their end step. Oh wow, they're just going face, trying to burn me out from here. I'm going to exile this lightning bolt while I can. That's the kind of play someone would make if they're trying to fill their graveyard for a Murktide. Wasteland, I'm going to float a red. I can seek a beast here if they pass priority. Murktide's a 3/3 here, even if they can literally cast one. But it's a 3/3 that gets dazed. Okay, in response to this Murktide, I'm going to seek a beast. And now daze is on to protect this. Brainstorm, Ponder. I have Lightning Bolt, Brazen Borrower. What can I do next turn? I need 4 mana to play all these. I don't have to play Questing Druid first. I'm just going to let this Murktide resolve. It's a 3/3. And end step, I'll bolt it. Ghost Vacuum, doing the Lord's work. 11 cards under there. Force of Will, pitching Brazen Borrower. Okay, you've made the days too good. I'll take it. I'll take the days now. I was trying to have 4 mana to Questing Druid and cast all these spells next turn, but I'm off it. I'll just cast my spells. Okay, Brainstorm from hand. Start there. Look at all these cards. Okay, I'll put back one of the Lightning Bolts and one of the Brainstorms. And then Dragon's Rage Channeler from hand. Then fetch a Volcanic Island. Ponder from exile. Get a Surveil. Questing Druid right on the tippity top. Keep that coming. And a Daze in the grip. Okay. I'll keep the Daze. Exile your Murktide Regent and pass. Protecting my green mana all along. Chain Lightning. Okay. I can counter a Lightning Bolt straight up with Hydroblast. I think it's time to deploy the Druid. Knowing I have another one on top of the deck, they've used their Wasteland already. Exile your sorcery. I can cast 3 instants in response to a Lightning Bolt. Counter target spell if it's red. This one qualifies. And now Lightning Bolt plus Daze. Get Questing Druid out of bolt range. Even if the Daze gets paid for, the bolt doesn't matter. Channeler. I'm going to go to my turn. I'm not going to turn on Daze here. I'm not going to turn on Lightning Bolt when I can just beat this Dragon's Rage Channeler on my turn with some patience. Exile your creature. Attack for 3. I got 29 cards left in my deck. That's plenty. Bauble. Definitely was the draw for turn. Which means the 2 cards in their hand last turn that didn't answer Questing Druid probably still don't. I'm going to fetch my basic island right now before I accidentally flip it into a spot where I can't use my fetch land anymore. Murktide Counterbalance. A solid display. Okay, Counterbalance. I'll start there. Pyroblast Counterbalance in response. I don't have an argument for that. I am going to exile their Mishra's Bauble in response, though. Okay, you got me. But that still flushed out the Pyroblast that I'm sure they would have liked to use on this Murktide. All right, maximum size Murktide. Okay, I have 2 Pyroblasts. Deal. The Druid's doing the work. And this is what I was talking about all the way back on turn 1. The first creature's not going to win. The 4th creature's not going to win. There's so much removal in these decks, you just need to have the last creature. Opponent's about to draw Ponder, a solid card. They're at 4. Chain Lightning in my hand now. Bauble Ponder is their hand. I think I just win if I Pyroblast this Ponder. But I think I just win if I don't, also. What could they draw? Let's not find out. Okay, they have 1 look with Mishra's Bauble. There we go. And Questing Druid is going to be the last human being standing. Is a human. They get 1 draw step to rule them all. I guess like Brazen Borrower could temporarily stabilize. Oh no, I can daze that. Yeah, they seem to have nothing and I'm gonna attack. GG's. Delver Mirror is super intricate. There's a lot going on, kind of understanding what turn 16 should look like, rather than thinking about turns 1, 2, and 3 is really important. And that was a showcase of how something innocuous like Ghost Vacuum that beat 2 Murktide regions by itself, basically. They were never close to Delirium. I've had this Brazen Borrower in my hand since my first Ponder of the game. Never needed it. And that was a showcase. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4. I'm going to keep my hand. The 1-land special here. Playing against Eldrazi, okay. That's awkward because I don't want to fetch my basic, but I also don't want to get wastelanded out of the game. I am going to get my basic land like a coward. Try to get this first one stable at least. Okay, so here I am actually going to take the Force of Negation and pass, because we've seen me lose to Chalice of the Void multiple times already by itself. I wish this was Force of Will, but it's not. We work with what we got. Wasteland's a good card in the matchup as well. That's my next draw. Murktide's a good card in the matchup if I can cast it. They exiled Ugin and 2 4-drops. So I feel like they were looking for mana off that. There's the Wasteland. Now I can Brainstorm, or I can Wasteland pass. Okay, I'm going to play my Wasteland and pass. They might just waste my Wasteland, but they're down a land either way there. Okay, they went into their turn, which means that I might want to waste their Wasteland. Like, they had the opportunity to take this out. Are they going to cast a spell instead? I'm not going to do it yet because I would rather hit something more important. Okay, now they're wasting me. I'll waste my own Wasteland on the way out. Wastelands can target themselves. Scoreboard. Okay, so that ended up being the same of whether I did it or not. And my Brainstorm's going to see 3 fresh cards here, which is what I want because hitting here is important. Brainstorm and Completely Betrayed. I'm going to put back 2 Lightning Bolts and pass the turn. Yeah, that sucks. This is the type of position where we could start punishing, drop a 3-power creature, the bolts go upstairs. But instead, I will simply die. At least I got this going for me. I'm actually going to exile the Murktide because the Delver is the only thing I have that resembles a plan right now. And I stacked bolts, so the Delver will flip next turn if it's still in play. I wonder if they just drew that Chalice or if they were trying to play around Daze to resolve it. 5 mana now. Devourer, 4 unknowns in hand. I can't imagine this game is going to be playable. Missing on the Brainstorm is obviously a bad beat. I'm just trying to think if I'm supposed to shuffle the Ponder. Because my Wasteland was relevant, and my Force of Negation was relevant. 2 of the 3 cards that I kept that Ponder on the strength of have had impact on this game. Well, there's 14 colored mana sources still in my deck. I used 2, so there's 12. 3 looks at a 12 outer out of 48 cards. Yeah, I guess literally 1 out of every 4 cards is a land, and I looked at 3 cards and missed. It's bad beats that not only did I miss on the lands, but I also missed on the Ponders and Brainstorms to move those lands around. I missed on Wasteland. That, even though it doesn't cast spells, would have stopped this Devourer from killing my Insectile Aberration right now. All right, I'm good. I've had enough. Price of Progress, a Braid, Consign to Memory. I think last time I did Meltdown on the draw, and I think I'm okay with that. Force of Negations and Dazes, play to the board in these better counter spells. Leave my baubles on the play. I'll switch one of them to a Meltdown on the draw for game 3. I'm going to keep this. It's bad against Chalice of the Void, but I do get to Ponder to start the game. I'm not afraid of non-basic lands because I have more. I'm just going to get a Volcanic Island. Here we go. Okay, here's the squad. Force, DRC, Delver. I would love to just dump out 2 Jerks next turn and start applying pressure. Or get Chalice of the Void again. Oh, Grim Monolith. Deal, 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 deal. You can have that one. Okay, I am deleting this Force of Will. I'm going in on the creature plan. They're playing on Ancient Tomb for mana. Hopefully I could just attack them in chunks of 6. Their life total is divisible by 6 right now. I have Ugin, so they have thousands of mana. Thought-Knot Seer could take one of 3 identical cards. The Heat is the one that could kill Thought-Knot Seer, but the other 2 can go face, which I think they should be more worried about right now. But they know their hand better than I do. And if they tapped Grim Monolith before Ancient Tomb, that means they're planning on casting more spells this turn. Took Lightning Bolt. Oh wow. It must be Kozilek's Command. Murktide Regent. Not revealing this. Unholy Heat could put this into my graveyard. Not going to do that. Okay. I could just attack and Chain Lightning the Thought-Knot Seer. If I Wasteland first, that'll flush out the... Oh wow, that just happened. Okay, wow. Well, I'll attack. They know I have Chain Lightning. I can finish off Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, they're interested. They're in business for that. Chain Lightning this thing. I draw a card. Ponder, we like it. We don't like that. I'm going to shuffle this. It's just not doing anything I need it to. There's a Brainstorm. I can play a big Murktide next turn. They don't actually have any mana right now. If they play another land, they'll suddenly have a lot of mana from Eye of Ugin, but they have no starting mana right now. Okay, there we go. But they didn't cast anything with 4 mana last turn, and here's just this 2/2. Okay. I'm going to draw this Flooded Strand, not flip my Delver. I think I'd rather Brainstorm than Unholy Heat. Okay, Murktide number 2, land number 3 are out of here. Fetch. I'll get the Trop just in case. Bauble you. You have a Maya coming up soon. Just going to play the biggest Murktide I can. They just dumped out this Battle Mage. Force with no blue card. Kicked Myco Spawn. Again, if they play a Maze of Ith, this is going to be really annoying. Exiling my green source. The Druid is gone. They are going for Wasteland here. Okay, if Delver flips or doesn't flip is going to be a big part of this game. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Hate my life. Not a blue card, doesn't flip Delver. 0 for 2. But they must not have a Maze of Ith they could have gotten. Okay, no mana left, or they play Devourer of Destiny, which is actually worse. Fleshraker, 1 card left in hand. Okay, deck, can I have a spell on top, perhaps? You have attacks. Get them in. I already have a creature in the graveyard. Okay, I'm going to leave everything where it is. Spell on top. Oh, sweet relief. Okay, take 10, and I can counter a spell. So everything went about as horribly as it could that game, and we still won because a big Murktide attacked for 14. That's what we're looking for in this matchup. Okay, we've seen Grim Monolith now too, so Meltdown has a little extra juice. Okay, let's go. This is extremely reactive. I'm not going to mulligan it, but I'm not excited about it. Opponent also kept 7. Eye of Ugin doesn't cast spells on its own. I'll take that. All right, I'll play out Flooded Strand, because if they play a mana source this turn, then they can't also play Wasteland. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. I'm going to let that in. Fleshraker. I can bolt that. Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. I'll counter Thought-Knot Seer. They might not be done. The Eye of Ugin plus Fleshraker could do a lot here. But if we get a turn, and we did, Okay, this is a lot of lightning bolts. I'm going to take out Flesh Raker, and I'm going to chill for a second. If this Ancient Tomb is their mana, I have 6 damage right here. They could just kick a Myco Spawn right now. That's so disgusting. Another Flesh Raker. Oh, they don't even have to take damage because they have this Yavimaya. Okay, I'm going to respond to them untapping Grim Monolith by killing Flesh Raker. I'm running out of juice here. Where's that Murktide? Turn the corner. There's Volcanic Island. I could abrade this Grim Monolith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're almost activating Ayabugan here. I don't know, it's just like Kozilek's Command and Devourer of Destiny that really use this Grim Monolith, as far as I know. There we go. Glad I didn't abrade Grim Monolith. Rewarded for my patience. Destroy target artifact. That one. Yeah, B-Storm, let's go. Set me free. Yeah. Okay, this is a lot of juice. Suddenly filled up my tank. I'm going to put back Basic Island because I'm about to fetch that, and I guess one of the lightning bolts. Or no, I don't need Basic Island. All right, yeah. The Price of Progress is in my deck somewhere. Okay, I'm going to put back Volcanic Island and one of the lightning bolts. Play out the basic, and then opponent's got 1 card in their hand over there. Oh, they have a Yavimaya. I don't even need Tropical Island. Interesting. I could also just flip the 2 cards I just put back. That's Lightning Bolt plus land. Yeah, I'll actually let's just get another look at those. I'll Seek the Beast, and then fetch my last Volcanic Island right now. Bolt them in the end step. This is just money in the bank. They can activate Ayabugan from here. Okay, Volcanic Island, Questing Druid, LOL. Thanks for the green mana. Druid Delver. Okay, and then I can still do some more stuff. Okay, this does not look like Ayabugan. Oh, it is Ayabugan. You can tap it to itself? Oh no, you have to tap it, obviously. That's how fucking cards work. Alright, carry on, opponent. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can get a Devourer of Destiny here. Doesn't quite clear my board. I'm still pushing damage, still have a Lightning Bolt left. That's all 4 for those keeping track at home. Devourer of Destiny confirmed. Lotus Petal, so they can save a damage off Ancient Tomb if they're willing to use Lotus Petal here. Okay, they left up the Petal. And they're prioritizing Delver. Alright, they want to ground and pound. Or as we say in Pittsburgh, ground and pawn. Let's seek another beast. Oh, we've got a Dismember over the top. Opponent's at 5, and I have a Lightning Bolt in my hand, and they have an Ancient Tomb in play. Here's that game plan. Okay, draw for turn. There's a Chain Lightning in my deck somewhere. Questing Druid. Play that. Brainstorm. Play that. I wish I could put this Force of Will back. Hey! Ding, 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 ding. That's a dead opponent. Chain Lightning you. I guess I should have kept Ponder in hand, so I could pitch it to Force just in case they have... I don't know what card they could even have, but I could have had Force backup rather than this Wasteland that doesn't matter in the grip. Bang! Burn deck. And there we go. Starting to turn the tides on this Delver League. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play versus none other than Bryant Cook of theepicstorm.com. I'm going to mulligan this hand that doesn't cast spells. Okay, here we go. This is kind of exactly the hand I would want versus a combo deck. He's a content creator. He may or may not be playing the Epic Storm right now. Could be any combo deck. But Delver, double force, double blue card is a good place to start. Unfortunately, I have to bottom this Wasteland. Check out the Eternal Glory podcast if you want to hear me and Bryant Cook and 3 of you talk about Legacy every other week. The opponent kept 7. Must be nice. Delver of Secrets. Go get him. Storm, the Epic Storm, is favored versus Delver in general, if it is constructed to do so. Okay. This might be Black Saga Storm, could be Oops All Spells. Unmask. Alright, have a little peeksies. Okay. Resolves. I could force a negation this and feign weakness, but I'd rather let him see it and let the game take an extra turn. He said cheats in the chat. I told him it's a Bryant Cook keep. Okay, it must be Black Saga Storm, though, because Beseech the Mirror, not a card, generally in Oops All Spells, as far as I know. I'm actually going to skip the Delver trick to just have more cards and have more information. Lotus Petal is good against Daze. Ponder. Okay. This gives me Force, blue card, because I have a Bauble draw coming. If he casts a Thoughtseize or Cabal Therapy, which I don't know where it would have come from, because he just drew Lotus Petal and didn't Thoughtseize me last turn. I guess Daze might have turned off Thoughtseize last turn. Petal. Lion's Eye Diamond, yikes. Makes me a little nervous to let something like that resolve. I'm really worried about Urza's Saga right now, because my hand is very bad against that card. Okay, so he can beat a Force of Will. I hope he can't beat 2. Entomb. So this is probably going to put Echo of Eons into the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to force this pitching the Daze. I'm going to give up the information that he knows about and hide this information that is perfect for me that he doesn't know about. Because if his hand here has Echo in it already, he could actually Echo twice. Okay, wow. Just the old Passaroonies. Delver, let's show him that Chain Lightning that I can't cast. And that was just RNG. I kept a hand that had basic island in it. Lotus Petal. A Bee Storm. Alright, I'll cast that. I didn't get Bowmastered, that's lucky. I missed on red mana, that's unlucky. I'll wasteland that one stable mana source you have and keep the beats coming. Another one. I suspect that was just drawn as well. Bonus at 7. I no longer representing double force. Chain Lightning in my grip. I really don't want to suddenly lose to Bowmaster. I think I'm just going to pass here without casting this Brainstorm. Mox Opal. LED. 2 cards left. Gotta do something now. It's not getting better. Goblin Charbellino. Alright, I'm going to force pitching Brainstorm, because if he Echo of Eons, I'd rather have more Force of Wills in the bank of cards I could play with, even though the Brainstorm does represent more looks at red mana, which I found anyway. I'm going to attack first because I actually, like, he could send Chain Lightning back at my Delver if I Chain Lightning first, sack LED, kill Delver, stabilize at 1. That actually matters. Okay. Meltdown, Consign, some Belcher Beseech deck with Entomb in it. Pyroblast, Counterbalance. I could see all of these cards being useful. Dismember's definitely out. Unholy Heat's definitely out. Can I make these smaller so I can see them all? Okay. You're not going to be able to read them, but I can see them. They're at least on the screen. Okay, Murktide's a endgame situation. Questing Druid still plays just fine. Channeler's good. Chain Lightning can back off. I think Lightning Bolt can back off. There might be Bowmasters in this deck. I just want to give it a little bit of respect. Bobble's a little slow and wonky. I like my blue cards. I like my threats. I like my counter spells. Okay, I'll go down to 2 bolts, and if I get got by a Bowmaster, that's happening. Do I go 0 baubles? That's part of the package with Dragon's Rage Channeler. But I just have so many cards I could play. Maybe I don't need a Braid. Okay. Almost all my removals out, and one of my threats, my slowest threat. I will try this. Oops All Spells that boards into Charbelcher is something that's in the metagame. I wonder if he's Charbelcher that's going to board into Oops All Spells. I don't even know. Oh, this hand. I love a Consign to Memory. I hate that I'm on the draw. I hate Tropical Island. Wasteland's mediocre. He's not going to be a Saga deck if Charbelcher's in there. Opponent's on 6. I'm going to keep. After forcing him 3 times last game, keeping 7 now. Combo decks frequently slow down in the sideboard games. Like, they spend time thought seizing you and stuff, getting set up, or deploying a defense grid or something like that. If my opponent just goes all in LED Echo, okay, fine. But if they, unmask, pitching Fell the Profane, I'd rather have 7 cards in my hand than 5. LED, Chrome Mox, and are we going for a ride? We are. Okay, Echo of Eons. All right, flipped into a hand that might be better. I wish one of these lands was a blue card. Boggart Bog. Untapped. Duress, okay. Goodbye. Force of Will. Chrome Mox. This one has Guy's Will under it. Okay, Meltdown off the top. GG. Daze, alright. Well, Daze incentivizes me to play Dragon's Rage Channeler. If I wasn't already there. And I think I was anyway. Entomb. Alright, playing around Daze. Smart. I can Daze an Echo, though. That's going to be so disgusting. Oh my god. Please don't draw a Mana Source. Please don't draw a Mana Source. Don't play a land. Don't play a land. No! Alright, opponent knows how to play Magic. Which, frankly, is not fair to me. Okay, I have the Meltdown now. I have a Daze. Opponent's got 7 fresh cards to play with. Petal. Yeah, if I had just left a Pyroblast, that line doesn't exist, but that's just like one of many things. You can at least take the Meltdown here. Can't take me off Daze, if he even cares. Which he does not appear to. I could Questing Druid. I think I'd rather Ponder. I can do it twice. Murktide into the graveyard. Daze, Wasteland, Wasteland. All this sucks. Shuffle it. And my deck's random anyway, so I will Ponder again. Force of Will on top. Found something I like. Okay, the third Daze under the Wasteland. Draw the Force right now. Attack for 1. My god, it's only turn 2. I feel like I've been playing this game for 800 years. Boggart Bog, zapped it in. Playing around my double Daze. Goblin Charbelcher. Well, I'll force it. And I'll surveil away the Wasteland. I don't actually want that. 1 down. I'm delirious now. Okay, Daze number 3. I'm going to play my Tropical Island. I don't believe my opponent can interact with a land. And I'm going to leave up Seek the Beast, which can hit Force of Will, Pyroblast, Consign to Memory. Channeler getting in. And I get 3 looks at interaction if I need to flip, because the Surveil will trigger off Seek the Beast. Wow, zapping in another Agademe. Opponent's got big mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. Or 9, 10. Okay, so this is a Charbelcher through double Daze. Or something far worse. Echo of Eons. Opponent still does have blue mana left over. Maybe I'm just supposed to chill. Even if I flip a counter to this. But at least Echo of Eons isn't in the graveyard. Alright, I am going to Questing Druid here. Or Seek a Beast here. Whatever it is that I do. Scalding Tarn to the graveyard. Beast flips. Ponder Wasteland. Alright. We're echoing through the Eons. Those are not the cards I was looking for. These are all of the cards I was looking. Bryant, I hope you're rewatching this later. Though Storm is already 4. This might not be enough to win. I don't know. And because I sought a Beast, I can't Pyroblast and Consign to Memory here. Petal. The 3rd Opal of the turn. Okay, I'm going to force this, pitching Brainstorm. I know I have Pyroblast, and Pyroblast doesn't do much else, but the Consign to Memory beats a Storm trigger, which nothing else does. Okay. Seems to be passing the turn. Alright, now I wish I had used the Pyroblast, but you can't always know what's going to happen. Okay, Ponder. I'm going to use my green source because I'm not playing Questing Druid this game. Wasteland to the graveyard. I have one of those already. A lot more interaction and stuff to do. Okay, Delver, Channeler. Delver, Channeler, Force of Will. Do not shuffle. Force blue card. Force blue card. Cast. Alright, so I do have room to Wasteland here. I'll hit that untapped land. If I cast a spell, it surveils a creature into the graveyard, which gets me delirious. And I am likely to cast a spell this turn. And if I don't, I'll just like Pyroblast his Chrome Mox next turn and surveil my Delver away. Lion's Eye Diamond is fine. Beseech the Mirror. Is there going to be some shit that comes out of this that I can't beat? Some uncounterable spell? I hope not. That resolves. Casting Goblin Charbelcher. Alright. Force pitching Delver. And this gives me Delirium. Lethal's now on board. And the Pyroblast saved for the final Echo. We just had it all, folks. Sometimes it be like that. GG's. And a positive record at the end of the day after a rough start with Delver. Got to showcase the Delver Mirror, Stompy, and combo. Pretty good spread of decks that there are in the metagame. And yeah, this is just Delver. I'm trying to think of smart things to say, but this is the same shell that we've seen since when did Innistrad come out? 2011. And from Canadian Threshold before it, Dragon's Rage Channeler still a unit, Murktide still a unit. The flex slots matter. Like there were games where Tropical Island and Basic Island made it so I couldn't cast my spells compared to previous builds of the deck that either don't bother with the Tropical Island or some old builds even played a Steam Vents as the 5th Volcanic Island. The flex slots of Chain Lightning, Unholy Heat, Dismember, Braced Borrower were all variably good and bad in different situations, which is what flex slots are for. Force Negation, also a flex slot. Questing Druid was honestly MVP. Big draw to the deck. 2 feels like the right number, but I could see playing 3. And that means you probably want the Tropical Island as well. Maybe you don't need a basic. Like these decks have existed in the past without a basic land. If that's a problem you're having, or I mean, we mostly play just fine with the current mana configuration, but that is something you could mess with. Maybe you play 3 Mishra's Bauble in a 19th land, just add a fetch land, or add a Steam Vents, maybe over one of the other flex slots even. Maybe that's just my control brain trying to make sure I can cast my spells in a deck that works just fine. But yeah, Delver's back. We saw how it wins. We saw how it loses. We had a really long, interesting mirror match. Love featuring that. And this is part of the meta again. If you're new to Legacy and never experienced this, welcome. If you're old to Legacy, welcome back. John, thanks for the opportunity to play this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.